Hi everybody, it's Calandra back again with another reaction trailer for you guys. This time I'll be reacting to a video that was put together on YouTube. It is basically saying Tifa versus Aerith, who did Cloud really love more. Again, this is Tifa versus Aerith, who did Cloud really love more. So, if you're not familiar with the name, it is from Final Fantasy VII. I used to love Final Fantasy VII. It's one of the best games I've ever played. It's an RPG game. It was on the PlayStation first. It was a 3-disc set, and I played it all the time. And I spent countless hours working on it and, doing what I need to do to finish that game. So I'm going to react in a second, but you guys know what you need to do. First, please like, comment, subscribe, and definitely hit that notification bell for when I come out with new videos. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and definitely hit that notification bell for when I come out with new videos. Now let's check out this video. Let's see who Cloud really loved most. I don't know, of course, but we'll see.
Welcome back, Ultima Weapons. It's the Night Sky Prince again. One of the most hotly debated topics in gaming for over 2 decades now is Aerith versus Tifa.
Yeah,
they are easily two of the most well-designed and most intriguing heroines in the Final Fantasy universe. And the fact that they both share love interests in the main protagonist, Cloud Strife. Can we actually end the shipping wars and decide which best girl Cloud Strife is truly meant to be with? Or will this video only result in an angry mob of people and fangirls with OTPs sending me death threats? Probably the latter, if we're going to be real. Which is why, before we dive into the shipping wars, promise to both me and yourself that you'll keep a level head while watching.
I'll try.
I'm not sure why the so-called ship wars so greatly upset people, but with that out of the way, let's start analyzing the story like mature people.
Okay.
We'll start with the case for Tifa. Tifa Lockhart is Cloud Strife's childhood friend. They grew up together in Nibelheim. It's also worth noting that childhood friends is an archetype that a lot of Japanese writers use for romance in both video games and anime. Tifa has known Cloud almost her entire life. And just by most of her dialogue, there is absolutely no question on whether or not Tifa herself loves Cloud. Tifa has been with Cloud during the roughest of moments and would literally stand by him through pretty much anything. But does Cloud share that love for Tifa in return? That is the real question. The first half of the game, Cloud is kind of a jerk to Tifa, though through many flashbacks we're shown that Cloud wasn't always like this toward her. This change in his personality can mostly be attributed to his assimilation of Zack's memories and creating an alternate ego for himself. After Cloud restores his true self, he becomes acutely aware of how much Tifa really does care about him. Realizing the great impact of having someone who cares about you as much as Tifa does, Cloud's openness shifted in Tifa's favor. The real Cloud, without question, cares deeply about Tifa. Then there's the scene where Cloud and Tifa are under the Highwind together and share what we'll just simply call a very implied physical connection to keep things PG-13, with Tifa saying, "Words aren't the only thing to tell people what you're thinking." Well, Tifa, I wonder what else you use in order to tell Cloud what you're feeling under the Highwind alone. In the Final Fantasy VII 10th Anniversary Ultimania, Nojima and Kitase refer to the scene as a toned-down version of the one in which Cloud would walk out of the Chocobo stable on the Highwind, followed by Tifa a moment later, checking around as she left. The implication, of course, being that Tifa did the walk of shame from the Chocobo stable. Yeah, they should go ahead and kiss that T for teen rating goodbye in the remake.
Right?
But overall, there is little doubt that Cloud does have romantic feelings for Tifa, even if getting him to show those feelings is a little difficult. Of course, there's also the fact that Tifa is actually alive, so unless Cloud wants to spend the rest of his life chasing after ghost girls, he's gonna have to settle. In Advent Children and all its later novellas, Cloud and Tifa are literally raising children together, although they're not their own children, and considering themselves as all part of one big family. Though in terms of screen time, the context of the relationship being romantic or not is left ambiguous, which leads me into the case for Aerith. I have to admit, this one was much easier to talk about before the release of Crisis Core, which really made people insist on Zack and Aerith. However, if you look at the context of Cloud and Aerith, there is much more than meets the eye. Aerith and Cloud met through pretty unusual means, or perhaps usual for the way that Aerith tends to meet men, with Cloud falling through the roof of her church after the fight with Airbuster. The two immediately begin to engage in a flirtatious style of relationship, with Aerith doing such things as asking Cloud to be her bodyguard. Of course, this being a style of pickup that she learned from Zack. Cloud agrees to be Aerith's bodyguard for the price of one date, and Aerith even even makes Tifa jealous by talking about their promised date right in front of her. When Cloud spends the night at Aerith's house, he has a dream that is a flashback to his mother, telling him that he needs an older woman to take care of him. Having this scene, exactly when he meets a woman who fits these characteristics, heavily implies that Aerith is the exact type of woman his mom would want him to have, receiving her blessing in a sense from beyond the grave. Cloud's mom saying, "You should have an older girlfriend, one that would take care of you. I think that would be the perfect type for you." Kate Shee even predicts that Cloud and Aerith would be in a relationship, saying, quote, "Looks good, you are perfect for each other. Aerith Star and Cloud Star, they show a great future," and follows up by saying, "Poor Tifa," implying Tifa is getting the short end of the stick when it comes to Cloud's feelings. In Final Fantasy VII Dismantled, a book in which Square details and comments more on characters' introspective thoughts, that quote, "Solving the puzzle about Kate Shee's replaceable body, he tells one last fortune of Cloud and Aerith's affinity. Kate Shee's lines, which seem to expect Cloud and Aerith's wedding, is now made much more painful." Granted, it would have been nice if he could have predicted the whole death thing too. This is why I never trust fortune tellers. However, it does frame the context that Square wanted you to think in. After Cloud and Aerith share a spiritual connection, Cloud says in the final moments of the game, "An answer from the planet, the promised land. I think I can meet her there." Cloud, still wanting to find any way that he could to go see her again. Even the television commercial that aired here in the United States refers to them as lovers by calling it a love that could never be.
A story of a love that can never be.
But when you more deeply assess the story, it's much more the case that Aerith was actually dissolving Cloud's false persona and healing him. In the Final Fantasy VII Ultimania Omega, it states that, quote, "When Aerith thinks of Cloud and Zack's similarities, she sees that the present Cloud is not the real Cloud." Her meaningful lines like, "I'm searching for you" and "I want to meet you" all means that she has discovered the existence of the real Cloud, although he's not aware of it himself. The Ultimania Omega then goes on to say, quote, "Although in the beginning, Aerith felt close to Cloud because he behaved like Zack, her interest in Cloud himself grows and she's attracted to him." The 10th anniversary Ultimania official from Square even states that, quote, "Even though Aerith perceived that Cloud had lost sight of his true self, she still had great affection for him." So this idea of Aerith's affection for Cloud was purely based on his Zackness is something that the writers at Square have outright stated was canonically false on more than one occasion. So who does Cloud really love more? Reviewing all of the evidence and the arguments I found for both sides, there is a clear winner. The winner is Cloud because he hits both of them. Final Fantasy VII, for all intents and purposes, was meant to be a very complicated love triangle, in which Cloud Strife genuinely did love both of these women in different ways and for different reasons. The entire purpose of Final Fantasy VII's setup in this regard is for you to be able to decide who Cloud loves more for yourself on your own. Yes, from all the interviews, quotes, experiences playing the game, and discussing it with people who've loved the game since childhood, that as I've personally interpreted through all of this, Cloud does seem to have a bias toward Aerith, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't love Tifa or end up with Tifa in the end. Love in real life is oftentimes much more complicated than you just being destined to be with one person. OTPs aren't real, not in real life, and not in good works of fiction either. Part of what made Final Fantasy VII's writing so great in this regard is these characters having complicated romantic feelings. No one ever talks about how much Rude loves Tifa. In fact, when you have Tifa in your party, Rude won't even attack her unless she's the last party member left alive. You may play the game and interpret something entirely different, and the developers have made it clear, time and time again, this was their exact intention. That is the absolute beauty and complexity of Final Fantasy VII's story. All the layers of details, and the conclusions that you can draw from things meant to be story that you find unique is powerful and what makes this game a timeless classic. It's okay to disagree with mine or anyone else's analysis of this. We know that it's canon that this is a love triangle, and that both of these women were very important to Cloud. And yes, it was fun to discuss who he may have been more biased to. In the end, Final Fantasy VII shows that romance isn't a linear fashion. You don't just meet the one and then your searching is all over. Sometimes they literally die. Sometimes you realize that the person who's been there the whole time is the right one for you. So Ultima Weapons, I want to know, which best girl did you side with when playing Final Fantasy VII? Subscribe, click the bell icon, and let me know in the comments below. And if you really love Final Fantasy VII, I mean really love Final Fantasy VII, be sure to head on over to our Facebook group, Ultima, Square Enix plus JRPGs, where if you got an oversized sword, you might just find yourself in another love triangle. Link in the description below.
Okay, so that was the end of the video. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you like I told myself many times. I don't know who Cloud should have ended up with because it was one of those things where it's kind of up to you to decide which way he would go when it came to the two women in his lives, or if you're really feeling interested, you could make him go towards Barrett, but. I primarily went toward either Tifa or to Aerith, so I had to choose between one or the other. So honestly, I'm gonna give this video a thumbs up because it was very in depth. I did look at both sides of the equation when it came to dealing with Aerith and Tifa. It's very hard to decide which one you really wanted him to end up with. I mean, for me, I was always a big fan of Aerith all the way up to this when she died because I loved her personality, but I loved Tifa's ability to stand on her own and be able to fight back. So it was very hard to choose. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Who you preferred Cloud to actually be with, Aerith or Tifa? If you didn't have a question in your mind which one he should have been with, let me know down in the comment section. And any other videos you'd like to suggest that I actually react to, I do try to react to those as quick as I can. Now, I did actually end up with a new subscriber. His name is Game Shark. Again, his name is Game Shark. He is a new subscriber to my page, so I want to give a special shout out to him for becoming a new subscriber. So Gaming Shark, I should say Gaming Shark, that's his name. Thank you for becoming a subscriber, so you're getting your shout out on this particular video. And of course, let me know what you think of my other videos down in the comment section as well. Do try to respond to those as much as I can. And again, I'm always trying to look for a new subscriber, so if you want to become a new subscriber, definitely become a new subscriber. I always give a shout out to anyone who does become a new subscriber, and definitely hit that like button when I had come out with video to see if you really like them or not. Let me know what your thoughts are. And again, before I end this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and definitely hit that notification bell when I come out with new videos. You guys have a great rest of the day. Peace.